First of all, don't threaten me. I'm quite happy you've stepped out of my life. Your attitude stinks. You need to grow up and learn what the truth is. And don't call me a liar. You'll find out very, very soon who's right and who's wrong. But don't threaten me.
Hello, people. The time has come. It's here. What Charlie Ward has been dreading. The chat with his son, Glenn. So I just want to make a couple of points clear. Glenn was not paid for talking, and it was all in his own words. You'll see during the chat that I don't put any words in his mouth, and I'm very brief in what I say when I'm speaking to him, and I just let him do the talking. This was about Glenn and his words and not mine. So I don't mention names of cars, people in general, and I just let him talk. I have made a couple of transitions and edits to protect people that I felt needed protecting, and for Glenn, because that's what this is all about. It's not about me, it's his words, and we want to protect certain people who are not involved in this video. So sit back, get yourself a coffee, make a brew, get some popcorn or a beer, and you're about to see the world of Charlie Ward from the mouth of his son Glenn. Enjoy.
No. Okay. What do you want to talk about here? Because I've got to be honest, I don't give a shit about offloading on my old man because what he's put me through.
I mean, what it is, like I said, a lot of people got involved with this because they've got like family and friends that have actually fallen for what he's doing and scams, and some of them have lost money, they've lost it emotionally, and they've decided to come together and actually try to get the truth about what's going on. And I think
what is it that these scams are so? Because I kind of went with him to Dubai and stuff many years ago, and this is a funny thing because I phoned him up. That's the first time I unblocked him. I phoned him up to protect my sister, basically, because my sister and my mum are the only people that I kind of have solid ground for, because the rest of the family were in the religious cult that we were brought into, and he basically said to Carla, like, he turned around to Carla and said, you know, you should be backing me. I backed you when you came out as lesbian. I was like, fucking hell, that's 25 years ago. You should do that as a father. I'd back my son in court if he was done for murder. That's what you do to children. Not that I can perceive it as right, but you just don't do that kind of shit.
But when he speaks about her online, he also mentions that it's acceptable, but it's definitely wrong and not right. I mean, the way he speaks about that kind of side of things is kind of terrible anyway, isn't it? He doesn't accept.
To be honest, I get messages on my Instagram and on my bits of social media and asking. I'm like, guys, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't talk to him. Things I don't talk about him much. I don't tell my mates that I don't talk to him. I don't bring it up because it's not. It's just not something I can be asked to do, really.
I think what people just want to have answered, like, is how much of it is true what he's actually saying. You know, because
the thing is, he believes it himself. He believes his lies. He's that engrossed into it. Like, he told me when I phoned him 5 years ago, and that was when I was kind of with him, and we went to Dubai, and he was helping move money for one of the princes out there. I won't mention the prince's name because it's not something that I don't think I should do, because I don't think he's a part of it at all. I think that was my dad's cover story. And he's telling me that he had a contract with the US government. And I'm like, no, you fucking didn't. I said, I said, Dad, don't fucking lie to me. I said, when you used to bullshit me when I was with you, I let shit fly. But I've got nothing to lose now. I don't care. So I said, why don't you go away and like think about your real story behind this, because what you're telling me is absolute bullshit. And he's like, so I go, oh, you calling me a liar? I said, yeah, I basically am, because I know this is not true.
Yeah.
So this whole contract with the government, I've never watched one of his videos. Never have, never will, have no interest. But I hear about stuff, obviously. Yeah. And he's talked to me about this US government thing. And I'm like,
Oh, well, at the moment, it's currently everything from, I think he's Donald Trump's chief of staff at the moment.
Oh, for fuck's sake, isn't it? He's just a bellend that lives in fucking Marbella. Or doesn't even live in Marbella, he lives outside, he's in Benalmádena. And he just basically, he is a serial liar. And like, when I learned about him after I cut myself off, you know, I phoned up, he lost her house, business deal, bought for her by her parents, that's what they did in the religion. He lost a lot of stuff, and he put her through hell. And obviously, as a baby of 3 or 4 years old, I would never have understood it and never known. But then I kind of now, as a 30-year-old, 30 plus, nearly 40 man, I kind of understand it, and I kind of like went.
Ended up spreading over onto like yourself and on your sister, because people were seeing all these people close to them, family and friends, getting duped out of money, giving false hope. And they actually thought that if they started to contact like people like yourselves, make comments on like your sister's employer, which was wrong, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing I care about. It's really like, I just don't want, you know, she's grafted. She's just been nominated for Manager of the Year season. She's up against Man United, Man City, Liverpool. She's up against the big people, and she's only just started at the club. She's worked her way up to being one of the best managers in the UK, like from ground zero, from living on a council estate. And so for me to protect her career was the most important thing. That's the only thing I care. I said to her, I said, I don't care if they come for me. But I understand you're going for the heartstrings. Now, that's a typical way of doing stuff, and you might get him to sort of realise.
To be honest with you, after we had that first conversation, which is a couple of weeks ago now, and you said that you said if you look up the word narcissist in the dictionary, you would find that the definition would be your dad. Do you remember?
100%.
After like watching and speaking to you a few times, you actually can see all the signs there. And I don't think no matter what would be, no matter what pressure would be put on yourself or your sister, I don't think it would actually make your dad see. The thing about it is,
the typical narcissist thing. They'll use something against you to try to encourage you to come back to someone. It's a full-blown trait. Like, she came out, I think the age of 16. We kind of knew she was gay anyway. So she's now 38. So we're talking 22 years ago. And using that against her to gain her political view or whatever it is. I don't even know what the subject they're talking about. And my message back to that is like, fucking give me his fucking number. That cunt. I said, you know, I said to her when I leave, a narcissist is like a vampire. It needs blood. It needs blood to live. And that's what they do. They suck other people's energy around them so that they can feel good about themselves. And I said, when I left as a Carla, he will need a new energy source. It could be you. It could be Justin. It could be Nuri. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
So just be aware. And then there's only when I was up at her house, she told me that basically she hasn't spoken to him for 9 weeks. I was like, wow. Okay, so we're probably talking now nearly 3 or 4 months, 4 months, maybe 5 months that she's not spoken to him now. And it's sad, really, because he's cutting off his own family he's only doing it to line his pockets. That's the only thing he's doing it for.
The thing is, how it works out is he's got himself like in a pyramid of people that are all kind of in the same kind of ideas and scams, and they all become like affiliates of each other's ideas and businesses.
Do you know who he's involved with?
Well, he's getting involved with all. You know, like there's Mel K, there's David Rodriguez in America. You know, there's some like real kind of
know who they are.
Big names on the conspiracy kind of scene. Well, they call it a truthist scene, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, he told me that. Well, you heard the message that I'm not woke, and that is in fact more clearer than mine. And she will make her own decisions. You know, she's blaming me for that. And you heard him say, "I'm glad you stepped out of my life." I was like, "That's gold." Like, that is a perfect thing a father can say to a child. Yeah, I'm so glad you stepped out of my life. Like, wow, just for him to have his own view and make people believe it. But he's always been like that, unfortunately. And honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. If you can change him, I'll give you a medal. I don't think anyone can. He actually is so engrossed in his own self and his own beliefs that nobody, I don't think his wife knew he could change it. I don't think anyone can change him. He's just so engrossed in himself.
Yeah.
The other way you can go is if you can prove that he's doing a scam and get him nicked.
There's actually people now actually reporting it. You know, there's certain different fraud agencies around for the internet and within the police. So it is being reported by quite a few people that are spotting it.
Okay, good.
They're actually being spotted. They are taking it seriously.
Try and get a lawyer, get a consortium together, so all get a top lawyer that can fight a case singly for everybody. Because if everyone goes in chip, it's just it'll just knock them down one by one.
Because I mean, it's like with the alternative currencies and stuff like that. He's selling things, and then people are sending money to him, and they're not seeing anything in return. It just disappears.
Sounds about right.
But then when he does a video, he tells people that money isn't even he's not interested in money.
He's so obsessed with money. He's like, he'll get money and he'll go and spend it in Nikki Beach or in these fucking high-end places, paying for everybody and everything, thinking he's a dog's bollocks. And then the next minute he's skin. Yeah. And then the next minute he's like this. And it's just so up and down. Like, he's borrowed money off my sister, he's borrowed money off me in the past. He just goes up and down, up and down. Yeah. And yeah, he sometimes he just appears to make money from nowhere, really. And I personally I don't want anything to do with it, what he does anymore, and I don't really care too much for what he does. But obviously, I don't want him. I was going to go to town on him. I was going to write a book about him. I was going to make a YouTube channel and do all that. But I can't waste my fucking time. I'll be honest. I just don't have the time and the energy to waste on such a waste of space.
There's quite a few people now. I mean, there's Truth Seeker. You've probably not heard of him. I've seen his videos yet. It is actually worth watching. There's one called 30 Reasons Why I Don't Trust Charlie Ward. And it give you 30 reasons, and it's all broke down. Starting with like how he claims to be he uses the doctor title. Yeah,
that is a load of bollocks. Yeah. He got that. Me and my sister exposed him. He got it from get someone to ask him to have a look at his certificate, and I googled his certificate. And the worst thing is, right?
Yeah,
he got that doctorate on my first birthday on the 9th of August. Yeah, I questioned him about it. He's like, I said, "Where did you get that?" I said, "Do you remember the day you got that?" He's like, "Oh," I said, "Yeah, it was my first birthday, Dad." He's like, "Oh no," because what it was I did it then. That's when I was doing the course. But then I went and read back and set these out some fucking thing. So they backdated it or something like that. I was like, yeah, okay, well, whatever. And then I googled the university. It doesn't exist. It's an online fucking. Yeah, it's a fake. It's a fake.
It is. So
But before, up until about 4 or 5 years ago, you used to be able to change your name via depot to doctor without any kind of evidence. Now you have to evidence it. You change it to anything. Now you remember that they used to be able to change it to Mickey Mouse if you wanted to on depot, but you can't anymore. I've actually changed my name. Probably saw it at the beginning of the video. I don't want anything to do with the name Ward anymore. I've done that purposely because I was sick to death of people coming to me and asking me about somebody that I have nothing to do with.
Yeah.
I'm sick of people coming up to me and asking me stuff. But I'll talk to you guys because
he's never been a millionaire.
Yeah, and it could, you could do the job that I wanted to do.
Yeah. So
I'm insisting.
Yeah. So he's never been a millionaire like he claims to have been.
No, never been a millionaire. If he's had a million, he gets it and spends it. He's never. No, I tell you what, He's never owned a property, yeah? He's never owned a property. Why? The first property that he lost, which was my mother's, okay, bought by my mother's parents when they got married, okay? So he never owned that house. He didn't pay for that house. The other house that he had in Culpit Heath in Bristol was actually put into my name because he couldn't get credit.
Okay.
And then he fucked that up and fucked my credit up.
No,
He also, on his 40th birthday, was it 40th or 50th birthday? I think it's 50th birthday. Tried organising this massive grand event at the Sanderson Hotel. Got Carla to organise it all because Carla's very organised like that. And she done everything. Paid like about a 10 grand deposit and it's going to cost about 50 grand. And he couldn't afford it in the end. His deals didn't come off. That was their fault, obviously, not his. And a CCJ because of that as well. So yeah, you know, he just
it's the typical
proof of life, fucking everybody else up. And sorry if you're recording this and sending it. My language is awful, but I wrote with him. He just fucks everyone's life up. You know, I was out in Dubai with him, and he sent me back with his phone because he didn't have a charger apparently. Only to find out that it was the guy that he had to get some money for was like a bit of a, I don't know how to say, gang lord or fucking mafia. I don't know what you want to call these people, but it was a bit of a scary twat. Okay. And he said, I'll go meet him. So I went and met him thinking it was just like, I'll just tell him, oh, my dad's going to be back in 2 weeks. No. This guy said, you need to get this fucking money by tomorrow. And he's got pictures of me, my wife at the time, and my baby son, who was one, or not even one. So I had to, you know, he said, basically, we're coming for you. And I phoned him up, and he just couldn't give a fuck. He literally could not give two shits. And then, so I went and stayed in a hotel with my missus and my son, just to protect everyone. And he didn't care, not a care in the world. And then he came back to Spain for 4 or 5 days, and did not go and meet them and deal with the problem. He didn't have the balls or the manlyhood to go and do that and protect his son. He went, then got Nuri and Justin and flew to England to go to a mate's wedding. That's how much he gives a shit about other people. And I'm his flesh and blood, well, supposedly his flesh and blood. So, you know, these are the kind of acts that, you know, I've endured mostly because, and I think my brother did. Unfortunately, my brother's not here anymore, but he, you know, he worked with my brother. We used to know when my dad was skimming money here, there, and everywhere. We used to know there's something going on. But what do we do? He's your dad, isn't he? You know, you kind of like, he's your dad. He's like, and the amount of times I tried cutting him out of my life before I cut him out in the end was, you know, my sister and my mum were like, oh, he's his dad at the end of the day. Da, da, da. So you go back. And then the same cycle happens again. He will apologize and stuff, but then a month or two down the line, he'll go, when you said this, you're like, yeah. Well, I just want to clarify and blah, 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 blah. And he'll turn it back to that and turn it back round. So that conversation now with him apologizing is now irrelevant. And now it's my fault again. I'm like, yeah. And I said to Carla, would you never get back? I said, no, Carla, I don't need somebody like him in my life. Because I know exactly what will happen. He will turn it around again. And then I'm the bad guy. I said, I'm living a nice life. I'm quite happy with my life right now. I don't need to have that again. I've dealt with it. I've moved on. I've done all the research I need to do for my life and understanding CPTSD, understanding narcissism, understanding how it affects people and everything like that. And I'm moving forward now.
So what about, he says he spent time in prison. Is that true?
Yeah, he did a time in prison. Do you know why?
Why? Go on.
Because it was non-payment of her fucking maintenance. He did not pay maintenance to my mother. And then when he lived in Spain, when he moved out in whatever year he moved out, when we were young, he then used to declare he earned no money because obviously he was off the books or doing something that was not, you know, going through the government. He then declared he earned no money. So he paid 1 pence per child per week. So he'd send a check of like 12 to 15p per month to my mum, which was, you know, for my mum to cash in the post office would have cost 20 quid or something. I can't remember what it was back then. We're talking about the 80s, 90s kind of time. So that's what he did. And he never ever contributed towards us as children. He never ever saw us as children, although he pretends to Justin and the rest of the world that he should be having an award as a Father of the Year award. The way he goes on about it, like, and his daughter Carla, how successful she is, and blah 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 blah. You know, you had nothing to fucking do with it. You had nothing. My mum went and stood by the pitch for Carla in the rain, watching these crappy little matches that she played. You only turned up when it's the FA Cup final. You only turned up when there's something big enough for you to turn up at. Like, so it would never.
When he could get some attention himself.
Yeah, he wants to turn up to the big events, you know. He's like, yeah, I did this. It's my daughter. That's
But because when you watch his videos, he talks about going to prison, saying it's like, I think it's counterfeiting money and credit cards and things like this. And then he'll talk about going back to the same prison as a salesman and becoming like where he became the head of security for all the prisons in the United Kingdom.
There is a part that's truth to that, from what I know from his voice. Yeah. I don't, and I think I do know because I know the owner of the company Sensomatic that he worked for. He basically he got a job in sales for Sensomatic Security, and he then got the contract for a prison or something. I don't know how far along this is true because this is more his words than actually knowing. But I do know he did get a contract for the prison. And then he got the contract for, I think it went spread out to the whole of the UK.
Yeah.
And I think he says that he designed the prison security system, which in 2 seconds he could design a PDF or a Word press website. So I find that unsure. But then he did do very successful out of that. But he was a head of security? No, not in a million years. He worked as a salesman at Sensomatic and got a fucking good deal. That's what he did. That's the bottom line of it.
So most of his work has actually all been in sales, selling the product to himself as he is at this moment in time.
He can talk the talk. He can certainly talk the talk. And I think what I've thought, because I don't know what's in these videos, I know they're all conspiracy theory. It's all like this and this and this and this. The jab. I remember saying about the jab and stuff like that. I think he's just prying on these vulnerable people that are in lockdown right now that don't know what is happening. They don't know what's the truth. They're looking for an answer. They're not getting it from Boris Johnson because he's baffling on like an idiot, although he's doing probably the best job that any of them could have done. And he's just, these people just want something that's solid, and he can talk with absolute confidence, a lot more than Boris can. So he will be believable for sure. I can guarantee he's believable, and they will believe it. But apparently none of the stuff that he says comes true.
His younger days and the cult.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the way he's behaving, the way he can get these people to like sign up to his ideas is probably what he learned back then, what he was seeing.
Probably, yeah, it's brainwashing.
Yeah, and then when you add that to the salesman skill, what he has, to being able to be charming and sell some sort of idea or product, maybe that's what drags people.
Don't think he was a chairman, but yeah. He's probably the top salesman of the month or year, but definitely not a chairman. You don't make people chairman because they sold a lot of cameras. No, I wouldn't. You need a lot more to become a chairman than the ability to sell a lot of cameras.
So since he went to like Spain, he's only ever done like sales jobs. He's not been.
He worked in timeshare for the first 20 odd years of it, selling basically shit packages that people were very unhappy with. The timeshare days came away many years ago. I think it just got too hard for everyone to do it, and I think they clamped down on a load of stuff, and the kind of stuff that they were offering and saying that was available with this timeshare package was never quite true. And he's very good at using words, manipulating words to make it sound like it's included, but not directly saying it's included, kind of thing. And he'll do that a lot. And then when you confront him about it, no, I didn't say that, I said this, and he'll try and have a double meaning with it. And you're like, I see where you fucking went there, Dad. Well done. Great. You convinced somebody, you abused my trust in believing my own father. It's like, wow. Yeah, nice. Yeah. And yeah, so I suppose I was quite naive to it all. But, you don't expect it, really. I would never expect, you wouldn't expect it from your father. I wouldn't expect most people, 90% of the people in this world would expect their father to lie to them and deceive them in a way like that. But he did all the time. And then he'll use something against you. Like, yeah. He's good at that.
Yeah. Well, I heard that on one of the messages that what you sent to me, the way he was actually speaking to you about making the same mistakes and this and.
Oh, my mistakes. Yeah. But he doesn't know that I've got a perfect relationship with my ex-wife and my son, my youngest son, and I've got not the perfect relationship with my eldest son's mum. But she'll invite me around for dinner if I'm there and I've just made dinner. Do you want some? We have a relationship like that. She always asks for more money, but then they all. So we have a bit of a bicker about that. And I have a perfect relationship with my son. I speak to my son on a daily basis. I'm with my son. So if he thinks my relationship, because I live in different country to one of them and a different part of the UK to another, is exactly the same as his, where he lived in a different country and never paid a penny and never tried to talk. Okay, it's a lot easier nowadays with mobile phones to talk to your children. But if he thinks mine compared to his is the same, then he's mental. But he's just trying to use that against me again. He's trying to belittle me to try to make himself feel good.
But I picked up on that when I was listening to it. I could see what he was trying to do.
Yeah, it just blows over my head now. I just can't be. I know what he's trying to do. It's like having an ex-wife who's just trying to belittle you and trying to make you feel bad about your actions all the time, so they feel good about theirs. It's like, a bitter person. He's a bitter person. Every right he's got a right. He's got a right to be bitter because he's fucked a lot of shit up, and he's probably pissed off within himself. I guarantee underneath all of this exterior, he's probably he's a broken person. I think. I'd like to see if the HMRC or any other thing in Spain has any records of his earnings. Maybe that's something you should have a look at.
It's probably a good idea.
No, honestly, it's a very good idea. I just thought about it then when you asked that. Has he had? That will tell you if he's had anything. Now, all this money he's got and all this high life that he promotes on his social media and everything else, have a look, see whether it's see if it's there. Because if it is, then he might have something to back himself up on. But I can guarantee you one thing: he has not paid a fucking dime in tax. I'm pretty much sure you're that.
There's been photos of fancy cars with the Ward surname on the registration plate and things like this. I don't know if it's just a matter of sticking around. Like some big sports cars and top £100,000 cars and things like this.
You ain't got £100,000 car.
No. So I had my suspicions that he's probably had the number plate made and just
Oh yeah. Definitely not owned by him. He has a number plate C114 RUE. But if you manipulate the 11, it's a H, then the 4, then the R, then the U is put a thing there. So it's an L and an I and an E. It says Charlie. But I don't even think he's got a car to put it on. As far as I'm aware, he doesn't have a car. If Nuri has her car, that he bought her many years ago. And then I think from this is 3 years ago. As I say, I have absolutely zero interest or zero knowledge of his life. He just had a motorbike that he bopped around on. Whether he's got a car now, I don't think so. And if he did, he'll run out of money soon and sell it like he does with everything else. So that's what will happen with him, unfortunately.
So, I mean, what's it like there? Where he's living there? What kind of what is it like? His lifestyle? His house? Is it a big house? Is it?
No, it's not a big house. It's a nice house. It's not a big house. If I'm right, if he still lives in Benalmadena, where I assume he lives, it's you go in. You got upstairs. You got the 3 bedrooms. 3 bedrooms. You go downstairs. You got the living room, kitchen. Then you go downstairs again. Halfway downstairs, there's another room. And then downstairs, you've got like this outside bit where there's a swimming pool. And then at the end is where his office is, where he's kind of cordoned it off, where it's his little den, if you like. She would never lie. She's just not that person. She told me that he got thrown out for adultery. He basically just kept on shagging around, and he got thrown out, and then he basically blackmailed my mum to come out of the religion. She said this is the only thing she says, and this is just from her mouth, it's the best thing he's ever done for me, was to get her out of that religion, because the religion's quite a tough gig. So she's happy for that. That's the only thing she's happy for. He blackmailed us. He basically said, I'll tell them that we've been sleeping together and blah, 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 blah. And she left with the kids, us. And then with the house and everything else, and they did together, he went into his business deal with a guy called Wayne. And he then lost the house, left my mum, and left my mum to defend 3 children on her own without any family help, because they're in the religion. They cut you off completely to raise us on benefits and living in council houses, winter lets, all the rest of it. She did a fucking good job, a very good job with all 3 of us, considering the circumstances that she was given in life. That's it.
So is that easy, or is it rented?
It's rented, yeah. It's rented. Yeah, definitely rented. That's if he lives in that same house.
How often did you see him after you left? Did you see him?
He would never show up. He would come maybe once a year, twice a year, if that. And sometimes there'd be periods of years without seeing him. All I remember is when he did show up, he'll turn up with presents. He'll turn up in a flash car with presents. Considering he had no money to pay my mum, and she was obviously fuming at that point. She's working, I shouldn't really say this, but could do to put food in our mouths and shoes on our feet, kind of thing. She's got 3 kids. It was obviously very difficult. So she basically had to do that. He just turned up all the time. Flat, you can't turn up in a Porsche or a Lexus or something like that. Presents, and we had skateboards, remote control cars, and coming from where we came from, that was like gold for us. It was like, oh wow, like we were the little kids, like this is the best thing ever. Dad's well cool. He's got look at his car. We just thought it was amazing, but you kind of grow up and realize what's a cunt, basically. As a father, I know my language is never too not colourful, but it gets a bit.
That's okay. There's no problem with that. So what would you like to? What message would you give to people who are actually following his word and sending him money and coming up with ideas?
I wouldn't. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's taking stuff from information sources, probably manipulating it into his own words. He talks a good story. He has nothing to back up these stories. As I say, have a look if there's anything of his payroll anywhere. I guarantee there's not. Have a look, and he'll say that it's because it's government and it's MI6 that it's all hidden. That will be his excuse. and do your own research. Basically, do your own research. Look at anything that's substantial that he's done in the past that's come true. Have a look at the companies. I heard that he's doing something with a gold company or something, buying gold and use his thing. If you have a look at that company, someone sent it to me and I had a look at it. I think the reviews were like 2 out of 5 stars. I'm sorry, mate, but I wouldn't buy from 2.5 stars, even if my wife told me to buy from there. I just wouldn't do it. I'd go look elsewhere if I wanted to buy gold. I'd rather pay the extra 10% that you get off to get something decent with a 5-star review. It's got a credible backing.
That's the same with all the companies that he's dealing with. If you look at them and you go to the reviews, they've all got like 2.5 or 1.9 star. You know, they're not really any trustworthy company.
Heads, guys, like just use your own heads. Do a bit of your own due diligence. Find out if it doesn't look right. It fucking ain't. The internet doesn't lie. Well, it does in many ways, but with the review system, it's pretty much tough boundaries on that. So you can't do it. I work on the internet all the time. So with marketing. So I know that these review systems work. And if they're not, if they're saying that it's not, have a look. I always write a company name, scam, a company name, fraud. Have a look, do that on everything, and it will give you a fraud review, a scam review. And if there's people saying stuff, obviously if there's one, you know, something may have gone missing in the post. But if there's a multiple, then, you know, there's no smoke without fire, guys. You know, just brains. And if it keeps coming up that, you know that this guy, Charlie Ward, is an absolute bullshitting liar, which I already know. But I leave you guys to work that out yourselves. Yeah. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink it. So I'm pretty sure you'll all work it out. Darren's worked it out very quickly.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've been following him for quite a while, since March last year when he started. Like a few of us, like Henry does the videos, when he starts off with the new King of England kind of scam. Do you know about that?
The new King of England?
Yeah, basically, there's a guy that was claiming to be the rightful king, and got involved with that. And it was just basically another big scam. I can send you information if you wanted.
I don't want to see. I don't want to read. I don't want nothing to do with him. Yeah. I want him to. Yeah, I just want it. I'll help you guys if there's anything you need. Wise that I can help with. As I said, I don't know anything of this current situation. I do know his past history, and I just want to make sure that he's outed for what he does. I just don't think he's right. I think he's mentally unstable in some way. But
like I said, I mean, for me, it's not about trying to harm your dad or trying to, because he talks about having people executed and sending people.
Yeah, but he's convincing people to do something that's not right. Yeah. He's telling stories that are just made up bullshit, and unfortunately, people are buying them.
I mean, but for the likes of myself and a few of the others, we just want to, you feel like it's a chat where you want to pick up and give them a good shake and tell it. Just tell the truth. Just stop scamming these people and stop giving them false hope.
Yeah,
because you're not doing them. Like you said, mental health wise, there's some people that have stopped taking medication.
That's bad. Like I know that I would never stop taking medication and stuff like that based on some. I suppose he's a doctor, isn't he? I bet they believe that. Has he got showing off his certificates? Mm. If you've got a clip of his certificates anywhere, have a look at the name of the university or wherever it is. Can you send it to me? I'll find out the information. I'll pull that shit apart. Okay. Because I know, because I did it before with my sister. We were laughing our heads off. Yeah, he talks absolute shit. So, but we've always known it. But he's your father, so you kind of just brush it off at the time. But now it's got a bit too much for me, and causing me a lot of issues in my life. So I'm willing to. I'll find that out again, because I forget what it's called now. It's called something. It doesn't even exist. It's not even an existing thing. And he'll try to make up a story about it, but you can't get a doctorate by just Yeah, you've got to go through some hard graft to be a doctor to understand that.
And then there was the old Top of the Pops, Jimmy. You've heard about the Top of the Pops, Jimmy Savile thing?
No.
No. He claimed to have known Jimmy Savile and been a guest at Top of the Pops.
Why would he want to be a fucking mate of Jimmy Savile?
Well, it gets even worse than that, I'm afraid, because he said that he used to have some female friends that was all, and he's about to say underage, and then he says young girls. But he warned them they would have to shag the host, but he still took them anyway. So when people heard this and they started saying, "Well, Charlie, if you knew that Jimmy Savile was who he was, and these underage girls would have to shag him, then you would be as bad as him."
Yeah.
So he changed it.
He actually knows, right? My brother Lee actually applied to Jim will fix it. Try and fix something. I think it was to go on. I think it was just to go to Alton Towers or something. He got denied. He didn't go on it, quite fortunately. If he knew Jimmy Savile back then, considering his own son is applying to go on the show, right? And my mum will back this up. She'll have a clearer memory than I will. But I do remember it. Considering he didn't even know his son was there, that goes to show what kind of a father he was. If he was that close with Jimmy Savile, and why is his son applying like everybody else? Why don't you get him in through the back door like these other chicks that he's getting in or whatever else?
Yeah. I remember when people did question it, he changed it. He said, "Oh well, I was 25 years old, and so were these girls." What he said was underage in another video, and he said he was 25, but when your dad was born in 1960, so it would have been 1985 when he was 25.
And Jimmy Savile wasn't there.
He wasn't there. He retired the year before, over a year before him. So, he tripped himself up.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah, he's just talk shit. Yeah, it's just a typical Charlie Ward conversation.
Yeah.
And then that's people. Even his own flesh and blood, Justin, he'll use whatever he can to get people to do what he can. He's only thinking about himself.
Yeah. So, if you had a message for your dad, what would it be?
Don't ever, ever cross my path again. Honestly. And don't turn up at my funeral either if I go before you. Honestly, I can't stand the guy. With an absolute passion. Just don't cross my path. Yeah. That's my dad, yeah. Yeah.
So when you went to live, you lived in Spain for a little time yourself.
Yeah.
While you was over there, you was friendly with your dad. Was it still two separate lives?
Sorry?
When you was in Spain, was you like friendly with your dad, or was you still like living your own separate kind of life?
We were friendly. You'd always fall out of him because he would say something and then he would say something else and it never added up. It never made sense. And I'll challenge it and he doesn't like to be challenged and we'd fall out about stuff. But I have my own life. My first marriage, or not first marriage, my first nine years with my eldest son's mum, I was out in Spain. So I lived with her and I had my child there. So we had our own life. We did our own thing. But we'd always go over, like you would here in England. You go to meet, you see your parents, go for lunch and et cetera, et cetera. Then a couple of years, I moved back to England. Then I went back out there and then I met my wife, which I divorced she divorced me actually a few years ago. And she basically, so I had another child with her, got married, etc., etc., etc. So, I lived my own life. I used to do boot camps. I was a personal trainer out there. I had a digital marketing agency. I did things to do Marbella and in Marbella. So I did all that kind of stuff. And I just had my normal day-to-day running life like most people do. And he would, I would help him out, if he wanted to go somewhere and a free trip to Dubai paid for sometimes, I'd jump on it. Yeah, of course I would. Who wouldn't? Come out to Dubai, okay, for the weekend. Wicked. I'll do that.
You'd be silly not to. I think I'd even jump on that. You know.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, so I just, well, go out and see him. We'd go over, have some drinks, have some Sunday lunch most of the time. Just normal stuff. But I tried to, more towards the end, I tried to separate myself from him because he just did my head in. I remember he just drove me around the bend. I had like a nervous breakdown at one point, and I was just because he just kept on lying about something, and it just gets to you, and it was a frustration thing. And I think I think he owed me some money or something. It was just a lie after lie after lie where he didn't give me the money. So I went in there and I just took his telly and stuff. It was a nervous breakdown for me. I had to go to the doctors after. I kind of apologized after it because my behavior was so fucking bad. But he built that frustration. He created that frustration. But my behavior wasn't acceptable either which way. But that's kind of where that was towards the end when then it all came to a blow, and obviously I had to see proper doctors, I had to go see counselling and all the other bits and pieces, and they were dark times, and that's when my wife left me because I was in such a dark place and such a. If anyone's experienced depression and stuff like that, you sort of take it out on the person that's nearest to you sometimes, or not sometimes, most of the time. And unfortunately, she was getting the brunt. And rightly so, she left me, which we're still good friends now. And I completely understand. She understands where I came from because we've come around that dark stage now. So yeah, so it is what it is on that kind of thing. But it was tough times.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at least you understand it, but I mean, I guess some of that could stem back from way back from when it being a child and everything going through, so.
It's, because I got into a lot of stuff that you use as an escapism or an addiction after that kind of thing. So I was trying to escape something. But now I've kind of worked it all out. You kind of work out why that is, what happened there. Because once you work out what happens, then you can really push forward with your life. And yeah, it does stem back from the beginning. Everything that he's done for his life I think has affected both me, my sister, and my brother. My brother was a very troubled child. He was expelled from, I think, all the primary schools in Torquay, and he ended up going to a boarding school in the end. I don't even know my dad took any part in the court proceedings and stuff. I know my mum did, because they wanted to move him up to Kent or something, and we were in Torquay, and they finally got him into, I think it was somewhere nearby. It was in the next county. So yeah, he was. My brother was a very troubled child, and that's why he got into a lot of drugs himself, and unfortunately died 12 years ago. That's 1 second. So yeah, so that's basically what's happened there, and I think he's affected us all. I think Carla's, as I said to the beginning, a message to anyone: leave my sister alone.
I think they will now, to be honest. It seems to have worked, when we got the message out and you made that comment. I think your sister seems to be being left alone.
Yeah, I think she has. I've kept her up to date.
I think once people realised that your dad didn't have much interest, it wouldn't impact him too much, that people realised that it was actually just it was a dead end. It was just hitting a brick wall by, even targeting people.
I think that once all this is over, hopefully people will, I hate to use it, wake up and sort of see what the world is for what it is. And he hasn't then got any more stories, but I'm sure they'll find something. But I just hope that, it fizzles out at some point, or you guys get him and something happens and puts a stop to it. But because I'm sick of getting messages, to be fair. So I've had people threaten me on my inbox. I'm like, mate, fuck off. It's got nothing to do with me. I said, if you want to come and find me, come and find me. But if you want to find my old man, I said, I'll happily send you his address. I was saying, hey, don't ever come in my inbox, especially when they've got like no picture, no bio, like trying to threaten me. Like, get out of here.
That's why I kind of used my real name as well, although I had like a bit of an angle as well. I also use my real name. And one of the things I didn't want is like you thinking that I was trying to intimidate,
Well,
blackmail.
yeah. That was Carlos. I said, I don't give a shit. So I'm going to knock him out. If he crossed my path, I'd probably hit him because he really destroyed my life, and he destroyed my marriage and destroyed a lot of stuff. But that's my personal stuff. I'm going to keep to myself. But he's just, I just can't stand him. Literally, if I that's why I wouldn't watch a video of his, because if I saw him, my blood would boil. I mean, blood would boil, and it would just go, yeah, irate. Is one person that I really just despise, and I don't dislike anybody normally.
I'm the same, and like I said again, it's not about so much disliking or hating your dad and wanting anything to happen. It's just about trying to get it to stop and make him see what he's doing. He's actually with people.
I wish you good luck on that. I honestly don't think, unless you go down a legal route, I don't think he's going to stop. But anyone convincing him, I personally don't think there's anybody's heartstrings you can pull that he would go, do you know what? I'm going to stop this, or I'm going to start, this is affecting me now, my family. I don't think he would. I don't genuinely think he would. You've got to go with a legal route. You've got to get him somehow where someone is literally physically going to close down all this shit, left, right, and center, and then, get whatever enforcement agency, whatever country, whatever, put a stop to him. That's the only way you're going to stop him.
Yeah.
If evidence of something like that, he doesn't give a fuck about anyone. I'm sorry, but he does not give two shits. He won't care for anything but himself. That's the honest truth. I don't see any other way.
It makes it actually harder when you've got somebody like that. Mainly because of but he gets all his followers, and some of them, especially the Americans. He's got a massive American following.
Yeah, I've heard he's got a lot. He does a lot. Telling me, and this was about a year ago, that he was, he constantly kept on going on about how many followers he's got on YouTube. It doesn't, because you've got 20,000 followers, it doesn't impress me. Like, it's what are you trying to get to here? Like, because he kept on going on and on and on about it. And that's obviously, again, he just loves it. He loves the attention and he loves money. And that's what he's going for. So if he can get a cheap deal for a shitty gold company, which I pretty much almost guarantee was set up by one of his mates somewhere, who's knocking out some shit gold, probably from Dubai, because he did go to Dubai a lot and does know a few people out there. Not reputable people, but he knows people out there. So yeah, there's probably someone out there shipping out crap coins, probably melted down with something else. I don't know.
Well, he does have he is a part of a website who promotes one that sells like alternative currencies and almost fake notes for like what you can buy on the internet and eBay for something like £3 or £4, a few dollars. But if you go to his website, they're like £80 and £90 each. And people,
what are they? What is he selling? What kind of notes are they?
It'll be like a Donald Trump dollar or something like that. Something silly, some sort of Zimbabwe note, Iraqi money.
Yeah, because he always says friends of like the governments in Africa and stuff like that. I can't remember which countries in particular. He used to say stuff like that. I was like, yeah, right. I used to think that the guy was so dumb, so much of an idiot. He talked about this guy, the Nigerian government want to move this money to there, and I had all this coming up with all this elaborate story, and I'm like, Dad, are you replying to the Nigerian emails? Like, are you believing this? I think he was getting it from there. I'm not sure where he gets it from, but it was coming up with it. I'm like, really? And then he would go to Africa, and it would never ever come off. I'm like, did you ever think it was? No disrespect, they're renowned. They're renowned for fraud. They're the biggest fraud internet for emails and stuff like that.
So in some ways, he was as gullible as the people that he's conning today himself.
I think so. Yeah, he does. He buys into these deals with these absolute random scumbags, and he'd go off somewhere, fly off somewhere. I remember he got stuck in Dubai. He had to borrow some money to get a flight home once because he went out there thinking this deal was going to come off. And I said, never do anything until the money's in the bank. You know, I would never do anything with build a website until I've got a 50% deposit. Don't do anything until there's something there. If these guys are transferring millions and they can't pay for your flight and hotel, why are you even going? If they can't do that for you, then they obviously haven't got millions and millions to move around.
No.
You know, they'd have XYZ millions in their own personal accounts. It doesn't make sense. It makes no sense. But he believed it. He was as gullible as they are now. Well, don't want to call people gullible and whatever, but if they are buying this stuff, they are being a bit gullible and they need to wake up.
Yeah.
Or be woke, as they say. Be woke. I think everyone else needs to be woke and realise that it's not what it says on the tin with him.
You've either got to be, in your dad's mind, you've either got to be woke, that's either by understanding that Trump is going to be a global reset.
Yeah.
Spiritual, because you need to look inside your own body and be in the fifth dimension. Be a big follower of God. You know,
God.
Yeah, it's one of his catchphrases. Remember, Jesus loves you.
What the fuck? He doesn't do any religion since he left the religion. He yeah. I admit I'm not into religion at all because of the shit that's caused within my family, and they completely separated blood. You know, they've taken blood thicker than water away from everything. So I've never been a religious person, and he's completely not. So him saying that is a farcical joke, and it's a prey on I'm a good person kind of thing. That's all it is. God bless you. You know, if someone says that to you, you think, oh, what a nice person. You know, but he's saying it just for that. He's using it as a little, I'm an honest gentleman. No.
At one stage, when he did his videos, he had Justin doing a little intro.
Yes, I saw that.
Did you see that? And to me, that was, not just to me, but people were saying, in a way, it's kind of, he's using him to actually get the viewers. And
It's using a child to pull at some heartstrings to show he's genuine.
Yeah.
You know, why would he put his children on there? It's not his child. It's not his child. It's not his child. So he uses me.
It makes it, let's say, those people going down the legal route and looking at and reporting them. And
I would try to get them together and talk to a top lawyer somehow. Find, you know, talk amongst yourselves and find somebody that will deal with this matter. Thing is, I don't know what he does. I know the gold thing. You mentioned a few other bits. I don't know who, what, where. You know, there's got to be a link somewhere. Find all these links. Find out that it is one big consortium of scam, and just get it and get them all. I don't know. It's got to be something. I hope to God he hasn't used my name in any of it, because he's obviously used my name in a few bits and pieces. But if my name crops up, let me know.
I will do.
I'll be down there to change. Well, that's why I've changed my name. He doesn't know I've changed my name. So I don't want anything to do with the name anymore. So he, let me know. And if there's anything you want to know, unfortunately, I can't help you with what he's doing right now, but I can help you with anything else. And I'm always, you've got my number, so anything, just call me. If you want to record, we can talk online.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like you say, if you're ever in the Northwest again over the next few weeks, I'm actually kind of free, you know, if there is anything to
Yeah.
It's been bad this last couple of weeks because every plan what I've had has been kind of.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm just sending you a message actually. So yeah, just send you WhatsApp. Yeah, but that's where my location is, so you can know. I'm not going to say it on here.
Oh no, it's fine. It's okay.
Whenever you want to talk, just let me know. We'll sort it out. Okay.
And you've got my personal details. You've got my mobile, which I've had for 12 years. So it's actually a number that's very close.
Yeah, my email I've had for quite a long time as well. So, but my number I've only just come back. I came after I got divorced. I went traveling in Asia and then Eastern Europe, and then I only came back a year or so ago. So it's kind of a year old. So,
when I got divorced the first time, I ended up with after I'd gone through all the courts and the solicitors, and I ended up with a bed and an old washing machine. Yeah. That's what I came out of an house with, a bed and an old washing machine.
Yeah, I did the same. My ex-wife took the baby and the 2 dogs back to Norway, and I just thought, John, I'm going to go traveling. So I told her to take everything, like just take everything. Like, why would I need it traveling? I'm not going to sell it for money, and you need it for, well, you've got a kid. We've got the kid. You know, life's not going to be easy as a single parent now. So, but it was her choice. So, but yeah, is what it is.
Right. Yeah, so it's been quite a while.
As well, I think we've been on the phone for an hour and a half, haven't we?
I've just noticed that. Then it's like,
yeah, it was time flown. I'm glad I've got it all out. I'm pretty sure I'm going to come down in my head to go, I wish I bloody told him that, and I wish I told him that. But yeah, I could, as I say, I could probably talk for days. The events that he's put me, my mum, not so much my sister, my brother. I don't want to talk about my brother so much because he's not here to evidence anything. Or there's this, yeah, I just don't want to do that. But yeah, there's a lot of things that have happened. A lot of things that have happened that just, for me, over the last 3 years have just completely added up. And I'm like, fuck my life. I actually can't believe I allowed that shit to happen. But you do when you're under narcissistic or emotional abuse, and the way they chip at you, it's subtle, not recognizable until you actually understand it. And I didn't even know what narcissism was until it all ended. And then I kind of worked it out, and I was like, wow, this shit adds up. So yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to speak about your brother as well, because I have read up on it and I've seen what actually happened, and I thought, well, you know what, it's not really, it doesn't need to be mentioned.
I'll tell you this now. Read that. If you put Leeward Lamborghini in, into the Google search, and it will come up with I think it's Daily Mirror, Daily Mail, or one of them papers. There's two British headline papers there somewhere, and they all talk about this British oil tycoon's son dying in his Lamborghini. British oil tycoon's son. First of all, he wasn't an oil tycoon. He never has been. I don't think he's ever owned a barrel of oil on a commodity market, let alone being an oil tycoon. So he comes up. I'm 99.9% sure them articles were sold to the papers by my father. And I did say, I'm going to go to the papers and ask them why the fuck they've written this. And he was convincing us not to, because if you do, you're just going to add wood to the fire, and it's just going to escalate and escalate. And my head was so screwed at the point of when my brother died, I kind of bought into that. And I wish I bloody did go to them now and ask them, who sold you this story? I'm pretty sure they would have said, my old man. 99.9% sure. And I'm just so sure that it was him that sold it. If you read the stories, they were written by him, and they're about him. Oh, poor little Charlie Ward.
Yeah.
Just going for that. He uses it. He uses his dead child for attention. That's just the kind of person he is. That's another really sad thing about him.
Well, it is that. I mean, that's where he talks about Justin, isn't it? He had a child had a child that, and then Justin came along, and it was like kind of a way to redeem himself. You know,
he can't redeem himself with another child.
Yeah.
You've got to fucking look after the 2 that you've got left, or try to redeem it with them. Put some effort in, not like be a cunt and let things keep escalating out of control by and then use another child to make out that you're the best father. No, you can't. What you could have done was say, apologize to my sister and pull back from stuff and maybe contact you and deal with the problem head on. Not brush it off and use it, tell her that I stood by you as a lesbian and then bring up a little kid, look, I'm the greatest father in the world. No, that's not how you do it. It's just the most pathetic thing I've ever heard in my life from a man. That's what I mean. He's pathetic twat. I don't like him, as you probably explained.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I've got to crack on. I've got so many calls and so many messages on my phone. I'm going to have to deal with this now. Get on with them. Send you a message. Give us a call whenever you want, and we'll catch up. Okay?
I will do. Okay, no problem. Thanks for that. Okay.
Thank you very much, Darren. Speak to you later.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Until you change your attitude, you need to grow up and be a man instead of being a little millennial that's as woke as the day is long. And you've even made your sister woke as well. You know, everybody else's fault except yours. When you man up and get a backbone instead of being a jellyfish, then you'll understand what's going on. And at the moment, you just don't. It's sad, but that's you'll wake up one day, and the longer you take to wake up to what's actually happening in the world, the harder it will be. And I'm more than willing to help you. But if you want to continue down the line that you are, of just calling me a liar without even listening, without understanding anything, then you make your own decisions.
In life, you remember as a schoolboy, when you get caught out lying, everything else falls down around you. And it's going to be a pleasure to sit back and watch. It really is.
Yeah.